Hello, and thank you for stopping by. On today's interview, we chat with Rivs and we head over to Oakland, California to spend a sunny day at a skate park. We chat about his early days in the rave scene, all the way into his journey as a label owner. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy this interview. Much love.
My artist name is Rivs. Um, it's a play on my high school nickname, which is a play on my name. My last name is Rios, which translates to rivers. And so that was my nickname in high school, and so it just felt natural to shorten that a little further and go by Rivs. Um, yeah, that's where my name comes from. I'm currently in Daly City, but I've definitely been living all over the Bay Area my entire life.
Let's just start from the beginning. What was your how did you get into the electronic scene, drum and bass and all that?
To be honest, I think what first perked my interest was I had an older cousin that showed me hella trance music in 2007 or 8, and I remember dance music was not nearly as popular and talked about as much as it is now, and so I definitely had an interest in dubstep and progressive house in high school. But it wasn't until this night, New Year's Eve, going into 2013, when I was supposed to I got a tattoo right here, and I was told we were going to a house party, and we actually went to an underground in Oakland, and I didn't realize just how freeing it was to be at a warehouse party and everybody doing seemingly whatever the hell they wanted, and I just thought that was really cool. And yeah, from there I got tapped into the scene, and just started following hella people locally, and just got totally tapped in.
So you would say your early influences are kind of local DJs. Were there
Definitely.
any mentors or anybody that kind of helped you get into all that?
Not in the early days, no, not really. I kind of just had to figure a lot of it out, and I ended up helping a lot of my friends with learning how to DJ, how to throw parties, blah blah blah. It wasn't until a few years ago when I got a mentor in the production world that just still does a fantastic job of motivating me to keep writing tunes and keep getting better. Because I'm definitely the kind of person that'll be all right, I'm good enough at this, let's shift focus. But I don't know, every time I think I'm better or good enough at making music, I learn about something else, and it just starts it all over for me again,
In the beginning, were you just right away making your own music, or were you playing other people's music?
Yeah, the first year I was raving, no, neither. And then at the end of this first year, I got into throwing parties, and that turned into me learning how to DJ. It wasn't until a few years later when I had a production session with M Project out of Japan, and I had never opened Ableton before. And yeah, this dude was just a wizard on it. And I'm just shit, I think I gotta get on this. And to be fair, my little brother was already producing and making music and starting to collaborate with people. So it felt very learning how to produce seemed very attainable. Yeah, 10 years now of actively producing. It wasn't until my senior year of college when the senioritis kicked in, and I was just fuck school, I'm just gonna make music 3 hours a day. And that just set me on a course to be producing for hours a day, until eventually I started a duo called the Terps, and we just kept going and going until eventually the Terps project came to an end, and then started doing things again as Rivs, and then the label came out not that long after. Yeah.
What were the kind of genres you were introduced to in the beginning?
To be honest, I thought it was all house and dubstep. I remember trap was starting was like trap and dubstep was getting like mixed a lot, both like at shows and in sets. There was a brief period when we thought that somebody who mixed trap and dubstep was considered forward thinking. Eventually became the norm, but yeah. Then I remember one night I like followed my friends to a happy hardcore party, and it like completely changed my world because I didn't know such high energy music that's so overwhelmingly positive existed, and that kind of just like opened up the world for like all the high speed dance music subgenres.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was definitely mixing lots of neurofunk with happy hardcore in the early days. Yeah.
How was the happy hardcore scene in the Bay Area during those times?
It was like rare. There was happy hardcore parties seemingly every weekend for like 8 to 9, like 8 to 12 weeks at a time. And then it'd be an off weekend, and then it just like start all over again. I kind of came onto the scene like as like the early 2010 scenes was like not wrapping up, but like they're all starting to get a little older, and they were starting to like shift towards other things. I like by far my most influential crew, or the crew that influenced me the most. I watched them turn from like a mostly happy hardcore crew to like drum and bass, and then they like experimented with footwork, and like now I see them book a lot of house and still drum and bass. But yeah, I don't know. It was really cool. I think it was really special to like be around the happy hardcore community when like everybody was like wearing hella fat pants, and I got into like, aside from fat pants, I like would wear candy up to here. I like some of my first DJ sets ever, I like would do that in like full fats and be sweating my ass off. It was really cool.
What was the transition like going from DJing to starting a crew? Was HJU your first kind of crew that went through that, or how was the history of that?
I started a crew, so I'm from the North Bay, and like I started a crew with other mostly North Bay DJs. We were all like within like 3 to 4 years of each other, you know. I think we're all like 18 to like, I think the oldest was like 23. And I started this crew called OTD, as an outside the drop. Yeah, we were just like throwing mad happy hardcore and drum and bass parties. Often we would like do an hour of each and just switch back and forth for like 6, 7, 8, 10 hours. And like it was an awesome experience because I like booked all the people I looked up to locally, and like brought out some bigger names like M Project from Japan. But yeah, I like did that when I was like 18, 19. HJU got started 9 years ago, basically as one crew. Things were falling apart with one crew. Funny story, actually. I like literally walked in on some of this former crew, like basically planning to leave.
So a good transition.
Yeah. And like I walked in on them, and they're just like, we were just chatting. And I'm like, whatever. But like once I got the hint, I'm like, all right, there's probably going to be some changes. I should adapt with it. And then when that crew eventually fell apart, I just like picked up, I like started another crew with like all my friends who were also happy hardcore and drum and bass DJs. And yeah, we started HJU together. Our first party ever was at a place formerly known as Code Word. The DNA Lounge in San Francisco like bought a smaller club, and like we tried our darndest to like throw parties, and like we booked like people we looked up to, like Fracas and Darwin, for example. Brought out Graz. Lots of legends stateside and beyond. I like opened for Alex Prospect there forever ago. We like got burritos in the Mission. It was tight. We went skating too. He was way better than me. He's probably still way better than me. It was like a really magical time to like be going into my 20s and like be involved with like you know, that corner of the scene.
Who were the first resident DJs for HJU?
It was myself and Ant, Solar, who now lives way up north. Solar was actually also in OTD way back in the day when we were like roommates, and yeah, it was tight, just like that was. But yeah, let's see. HJU was Solar, myself, Ant, our buddy Zariel was like he really was a resident. He was like one of the only other hard tech DJs in the Bay Area. To Be Happy out of LA was a resident. I think that happened a little later. Destruction, Dave. That dude was involved with HJU since the beginning. I can't remember if we made him a resident. Yeah, he probably was a resident. I don't think he'd be a part of HJU and not be a resident. But yeah, it really was just like my close homies that I'd been partying with, and like we'd just be going to each other's houses, DJing and all that.
Nice.
It was a good ass time.
I know that music has kind of taken you all over the place, different crews and all over the Bay Area. What were some kind of highlights for you? Like, I know you've DJ'd all around the world. Like, what are some of the places you've been?
By far, one of my biggest highlights as a DJ and an artist was, and also like one of the last things I did as HJU's leader was some of the guys and I facilitated a takeover at the Bangface Festival in Europe. That was fucking sick. That was extra special because like it almost felt like a send-off to like all the sick shit we had done as HJU, or I had done with HJU is what I should be saying. That was really special. There's a moment when like most of the DJs had played and like it had really hit that we fucking did this, and like Ant and I were like, Ant, myself, our Pocket Drama, we're like in each other's arms crying as a group over the fact that we did this, because like when we started HJU we thought we'd just be like doing the side rooms at like DNA Lounge and like helping with like little things here and there, you know. So it was super special that we did that. Besides that, I've had the honor of playing around the Midwest a fair amount over the years. Actually, yeah, from like 2018 forward, Detroit has always been really special. I've played at a number of venues out there. I remember like way back in the day, I opened for Luna C at a warehouse party, and like no idea what he looked like. And we're just like, but like I noticed that he was like hanging out backstage, and you know, I'm like drinking water, like smoking, chilling, and like this dude kept looking over, and I'm just like, man, who is this guy? He must be the venue owner or something, you know? And then like he gets on stage, I look at the slots, I'm like, oh shit, that was Luna C, and the whole time I'm like afterwards I was like, holy fuck, it's so good to meet you. That was pretty cool. I opened for Marco May on the Trauma Tour in like 2015. I was like super special because I was like one of the few times I've ever seen like hard dance go to like a big mainstream venue. I believe it was at the SF Social Hall, which is like pretty big. And yeah, it was sick because like they flew in legends from all over the world to play hardstyle, hardcore, breakcore, gabber. I was the opener, and I played a lot of 200 BPM Raga Tech.
Nice.
So that was a lot of fun. That was super special. Yeah, I've also just been been really lucky to play shows like all over the Midwest. About a year ago, I like did my first string of shows on the East Coast. That was really tight. Shout out Jordan, Chaotic Styles. the Metamine crew, because it was pretty dope to like go to like 3 states with them over a few days. So yeah, it was rad. And then like I think Chicago will always be a special place to DJ, just because there's so much history there in dance music, and I don't know. Played an old punk bar. I think I like played a handful of clubs, which was really cool. A few warehouse parties. I feel like I played every kind of party at that point. By far the most interesting was partying at a church, and then I see people in robes come in. They start setting up the pews, and like we're still like partying.
Oh, shit.
We're like helping clean up, but I'm like, oh, it's like 6 a.m. Sunday, and like they got a service coming. Yeah.
So it sounds like you had a lot to do with the kind of early days of hard dance in the Bay Area. What does the hard dance scene look like now?
I think the hard dance community has kind of like shifted to what's happening in the Bay Area. I'm seeing a lot less like club nights. There was a period when like we all went to like, there was like a monthly happy hardcore party like 15 years ago that we couldn't miss. It was like church. Mm-hmm. And now like it's moved into a lot of warehouses, a lot of parties like in the forest, like, and like it's not exclusively marketed as like happy hardcore parties per se. They're all just raves now, and like they book everything. It's really fucking cool. And like it's awesome because like that slice, the current like heavy hitters and like the hard dance community, like some of them don't even know what we were doing 15 years ago, and I think that's so fucking sick.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, without needing to make it about myself, mm-hmm. like it's so cool. There's another group of people that are like just as excited as I was some time ago to like be throwing parties. Mm-hmm. And like it is like a really cool treat when I see some cross-pollination. Like I've seen my buddy Ant play for them. I've seen my homie Cymatic play for some of these crews. And yeah, it makes me feel that like there would be a hard dance community alive and well whether or not I got involved. But I also know that like at the same time it's that much stronger because what my friends and I were doing back then, because I know that inspired some other people in addition to this like totally new scene.
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
What kind of got you to start your own label?
I've been wanting to start a label for a while. A few friends even like reminded me of such when I started Jug Music. And like it was supposed to be like my idea, but or I mean it still is. Oh yeah, but essentially what happened was I started dating my current partner. Their artist name is RAVE, and like they are like sent here from like up above. The way they like are so motivating, very like they're a fantastic, like they were just the soundboard I needed when I was like confused and trying to figure myself out or figure out how I was going to restructure my music and if I started a label. And yeah, what happened was like 3 months into us getting together, I thought it was a good idea to just move to Europe for a few months. And that like was just mega inspiring because every single weekend we were going to so many sick parties and making friends with like other artists. To the point that like I remember like I got booked at like this tiny pub called Cozy's in Bristol. Shout out Cozy's. And like I skated to my gig and like skated through 2 other renegades on my way there and like made friends still while going to this party. And like I just thought it was so sick, so special that like, I don't know, I was like mad inspired. And so I like came home with like a bunch of collabs, all these ideas. I made friends with a graffiti artist out of Taiwan who like did our logo and like, yeah, had all the pieces together. And yeah, within 3 or 4 months of us coming back from Europe, like Jug Music was a thing and our first release was like out there.
For people that don't know, what kind of genres, what kind of music
Yeah.
you guys put out?
A lot of footwork, a lot of jungle, bits of juke. Very occasionally house. We have touches of bass music, dubstep, and halftime. But like I'd say like our main two are like anything in the 160 umbrella and like jungle. We haven't released any drum and bass. Not that there's anything wrong with drum and bass, but we just decided we were gonna do like jungle because there's like such a heavy presence of drum and bass in America already. We thought we'd add to that, you know. But yeah, you could see it in our releases. We're like influenced by like graffiti culture and like other rave covers. Like we did a release for Pouty's Rage where we literally took like someone took pictures of like a warehouse, like would probably sell on Craigslist or whatever, and like we took that empty warehouse and Raquel like redesigned it or like designed it so it looked like there was a crowd and a sound system partying in there. And so you see like a lot of where we come from on the covers. Yeah, and like you even see it with like literally the colors on if you look at our releases from chronological order, you like see the colors shift. Yeah.
I have a lot of known people that have been on the label. Who are some of the people that have released that are kind of like that were on your bucket list? Like, oh, I can't believe I got them to put music out.
My boy Olly to start. Yeah, that dude's been putting in work. In addition, yeah, I mean, some of my close friends, Matt Scratch and Mandy Extras, it's been an honor to put out music from them because I've just been listening to them for so long, like 11 years at this point. My buddy UFO, who like is full on like a mentor for me, and like he's like a living legend, you know, in the footwork and jungle community. So that's been really tight. Names like Alejo, who are absolutely blowing up out of Colombia, doing a fantastic job of blending like Latin music and rave.
Nice.
And like they're totally making a career out of it. EQY, footwork legend I've been like obsessed with since I was like 20. He's like, that guy's my boy. Sonito, that guy is incredible on the trackers and Ableton. Fantastic vinyl DJ too. And like has really made a name for himself in recent years. It's been awesome working with him while he's like putting out releases with Future Retro and shit. But yeah, with every compilation, I like will just shoot my shot and like just hit up people I look up to, and like we've been really lucky that like a few people are down, like Dward, for example. In my friend circle, we refer to Dward as one of the dons of modern jungle, before dons. And like we were like hanging out at a record shop. I was showing him around San Francisco, and like I like asked him like if he had any recommendations for like anybody to hit up in the jungle community, you know, because at the time we just needed more jungle. And man's flipping through records, and he's like, you know what? I think I got one that I could just send over. And like, I don't know, moments like that, just, you know, yeah, it's sick. And yeah, we also have some legends I've been following for a few years now that are coming up on this next compilation. I'm pretty stoked on that. Can't really give away names yet, but I'm hyped, you know. It's awesome.
Cool. Well, we're gonna start wrapping it up a little bit. Just fun question. What's your favorite burrito here in the Bay Area?
There's so many. I guess it just depends on like which side of the bridge I'm on.
Yeah.
Lately, I've been going to Las Gallinitas in the Mission, and like they're just incredible because they like are a butchery. They're a butcher shop that happen to sell like taco and burritos,
Oh, sweet.
and so like the meat's just so fresh. But if I'm over here in the East Bay, Tacos El Gordo is like always a sound choice. Recently, I've been to La Flor de Jalisco in Richmond. Used to go there a lot when I was a kid or a teenager. Well, in the early days of raving, it was like a thing for my boy Pocket Drama and I to like go get burritos and then hang out around his house in Richmond, and like feel like we were there like every weekend for a while, for years. Went there recently, they're still just as good.
Nice.
But yeah, love me a burrito.
What are your local shout-outs, or just shout-outs in general?
Shout outs to everyone in HJU that's still doing what they do. Shout outs to Destruction, shout out to Ant, shout out to Pocket Drama, shout out to the NA Sound Boys who are holding it down with their fat ass sound systems. Big shouts to the No Bias crew. I love what they're doing. Shout outs to my friend Ronald J. Bands, who like is absolutely murking it. Last I checked, they were on their way to New York to play a show, and then flying back the next day to play a show, throw a show out here. Shout outs to Mwak out of Brazil. Love what those friends are doing. Shout outs to Techno Pagan, Big CEO, and the Generators crew. Shout out to my homie Hella Tall Baby, who runs So Bad It's Good, and it truly is. Of course, shout outs to UFO, my boy. Showed me where all the good mission taco spots are, if I'm honest. Shout outs to Rao. Our labor of love is jug music, and it feels so good to still have it going. Shout outs to that guy in that trade, you know. Gotta give credit where credit's due. Yeah, there's shout out to Almond for Techno out of Bristol. Shout out my boy Dromic out of Bristol. That's, dude, my homie for real. Yeah, there's too many to list. I mean, shout out to Lemtech, some of the sickest parties ever. Shout out to Balter crew. Love the Balter Festival. Shout out to Bangface, St. Acid. Actually saw this man working Bangface this year. But anyways, shout outs Proof Labs in Santa Fe, my favorite skate shop, as well as shout outs Midnight Theories, my other favorite skate shop in SF. You know? Yeah, if you just Google search jug music, you'll find all our shit pretty quickly. And then if you Google search Rivs and Tings, all of my pages and handles are linked to that. Yeah, if you find the Jug Music Instagram, both myself and Rao are on there. So yeah, just click away. And yeah, let's go skate.
All right.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
This before.